The final issue of Absolute Batman's first arc just dropped this week, and the ending cliffhanger is so freaking insane. It's gross, but also insane. So without further ado, let's jump in and break it down. So the last issue consisted of Bruce getting into an altercation with the Black Mask where he was repeatedly stabbed, burned with a flamethrower, and then hurled off of a skyscraper. But because his bat tendrils can turn into a parachute, he was able to decrease the impact of the fall just enough so that he survived, and after doing so, he made his way to one of his stash houses to start patching himself up. However, due to him not accepting Black Mask's bribe, Black Mask started placing weapon caches all over the city, giving anyone the opportunity to join him in the party animals to start collecting profit by killing people who had bounties on their heads. And this issue picks up immediately after that, with Killer Croc, aka Waylon Jones, watching Gotham City erupt into chaos on a local news broadcast. But moments later, his observation was interrupted when Bruce came stumbling his way inside, revealing that he was Batman for the first time ever and expressing that he needed help. After that, the story takes a detour into the past during a sleepover when all of them were young. And while at first things were very lighthearted, with everyone making fun of Bruce and Selina for liking each other, eventually things took a turn for the worst when an armed intruder entered the room, blasting Martha in the head after pulling out a pistol. Bruce would then wake up screaming, revealing that it was just a nightmare, but due to the nature of how traumatizing it was, he decided to go downstairs to make sure that his mom was okay. The story then brings us back over to present day, with Martha and Mayor Gordon being held at gunpoint by a random citizen for trying to prevent people from using the weapons being offered by the Black Mask. But curious as to what the purpose of the animal masks were, Martha then decided to look through the lenses, realizing that Gordon had a $1 million price tag on his head. After that, the story goes back over to Batman, but this time being escorted by his friend Ozzy in a small plane. During his time on board, Ozzy expressed that Bruce was effing crazy because Waylon wasn't his only friend that didn't know he was Batman. None of them knew. But now that the cat was out of the bag, they were all furious with him, with the exception of Eddie. Nevertheless, Bruce didn't really care what any of them thought of him and was solely focused on taking out a server located on Black Mask's yacht. So he jumped out of the plane like a freaking psychopath, used his bat tendrils to glide his way down, and then absolutely obliterated one of the Black Mask's lackeys on the yacht's main deck. But because he wanted to make sure this punk wasn't capable of creeping up on him later, he then booted him off the edge of the boat after wrapping him up in a life jacket. Moments later though, the lackey's child came running out of the control room while trying to slash Bruce with a knife. So Bruce was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this bullshit today. So once again, he pulled out the life jacket, wrapped it around the little booger, and then booted him into the ocean. And by the time the kid's mom came out, Bruce put on the most devious grin I've ever seen, so she didn't even try to retaliate. She just jumped off the yacht herself. After that, the story goes back over to the city, with Martha trying to get the people of Gotham to realize that Black Mask was just using them to gain more control and cause more chaos. Not only did these people refuse to listen to her though, but moments later, people who were already wearing masks realized that Martha and Gordon were both worth $1 million. Now, because Gotham was such a dangerous place right now, with madmen running all over the place, Alfred decided to force his daughter Julia to get on a plane so she could get out of there as soon as possible. However, Julia wasn't in favor of going because there were people there she cared about, expressing that if he was really forcing her to leave, then she no longer considered him her father. But genuinely concerned about her safety, Alfred told the captain to take off anyway. After that, the story goes back over to the yacht, with Black Mask attempting to put Bruce down by hurling himself off the top deck like he was Jeff Hardy, only to get booted in the stomach and then smashed through a wall into a bowling alley. Using his surroundings to his advantage, Bruce would then pick up one of the bowling balls and repeatedly bash it into Black Mask's head until tackling him into another room and continuing his rampage by slamming his fist into the Black Mask's head over and over again. But moments later, Black Mask pulled out a jump rope, wrapping it around Bruce's neck and choking him so aggressively with it that his neck started pouring with blood. So Bruce began thinking of his mother's wise words, how being hopeful no matter how terrible your situation was could make all the difference in the world. And with that motivation, he dropped the horns down on his cowl and smashed them into Black Mask's eye sockets so he wasn't able to choke him anymore. After that, Bruce tossed Black Mask in the water with a life jacket, just like he did the others, but there was still one thing left to do, which was take out the servers, enabling the party animals' masks. So he went down to the server room with some grenades he found, and as soon as he got there, he pulled off one of the rings, causing the servers along with the entire boat to go up in flames for good. And because the helmets no longer had any servers to to run on, Jim Gordon and Martha no longer had bounties on their heads, and the chaos in Gotham was finally put to a halt. However, after the boat went up in flames, things weren't looking too good for Bruce because for whatever reason he ended up drowning. So he had to have been caught in the explosion somehow, or maybe he was just weak from all the fighting. But before he could meet his end, it's revealed that none other than Alfred Pennyworth came back to save him with his bat dump truck submarine thing. And as the issue comes to a close, we find out that the Joker isn't actually a normal guy at all and has to like suck the life out of fetuses in order to seem like a regular person. And after being informed that things in Gotham aren't going according to plan, he says that it's time to bring out Bane. And let me tell ya, Absolute Bane looks like he's gonna eat Batman for breakfast. But sadly, that's when this issue comes to an end. But if you want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.